TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donation.
Shalom ve'erev tov, good evening. Welcome to our daily TV7 Israel News Bulletin, broadcast from Jerusalem. U.S. President Donald Trump asserts that negotiations with Iran are going well, that the war may be ending in the not-too-distant future. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan warns Israel over its continued attacks against Syrian territory. Turkey, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia signed a joint security arrangement stipulating that any armed attack against any one of the three states shall be regarded as an attack against them all. President Donald Trump is under the impression that the negotiations between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the Sultanate of Oman over the Strait of Hormuz is doing well, and that an agreement could be reached in the near future.
When I started the very important excursion into the Islamic Republic of Iran, it was a very important excursion because they can't have a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, the whole world would get blown up. We're not going to let that happen. Not only us, not only the Middle East, the whole world would have been catastrophic. We had no choice. We had oil down to less than two, in many places like Iowa. Oil was down to, gasoline was down at numbers that people hadn't seen in years. $1.85, $1.95. And we'll see those days pretty soon again, based on everything I see, as soon as the war ends. And I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer.
Asked about whether he expected the Strait of Hormuz to reopen in the near future, President Trump mentioned that from his understanding, it is sort of open right now.
Well, I don't want to say it has been. It's sort of open right now. You know, we have a thing called the blockade headed up by the U.S. Navy, and we control it. And now we control it, but they can always shoot something. They always have something or drop a mine. And if you have one mine sitting out there, you sort of mess things up because people don't want to take their billion-dollar boats and accidentally get hit by a mine. But I think we're doing very well. I'm involved in the negotiation. I think we're doing fine. It could be soon.
Amid circulating reports alleging U.S. weapons stockpiles dwindling, claiming it could permanently force the United States to end the war in the near future, President Trump pushed back at those claims, insisting that the United States military has more than enough capabilities.
We have certain types of munitions that are very powerful, that we have virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis. As you know, our defense companies are building more plants right now than at any point in history. They're building plants for the Patriots, for the Tomahawks, for everything. But we have certain types of munitions which are they may not be as accurate. They may not be, they're not as elite. We have elite too, but we're watching that very closely. But we have certain types which are very powerful and very good, and we have an unlimited supply, and so we're in great shape. But with that being said, we always want more. We have to have more. We have other things maybe come up. Maybe come up and maybe don't come up. Hopefully nothing else does come up. But we're in very good shape. We have literally massive amounts of ammunition.
Turning to Ankara, where Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan hosted his Syrian counterpart Asad al-Shaybani, during the course of which the former seized the opportunity to publicly acknowledge the deepening involvement of Turkey throughout Syria. Moreover, after holding discussions on regional developments, Ankara's top diplomat emphasized his country's support for the indirect negotiations between the United States and Iran.
Today's meeting also gave us the opportunity to discuss regional issues. We are, of course, pleased with the statements suggesting that positive words can be exchanged between the U.S. and Iran. We hope for a ceasefire to be reestablished as soon as possible and for the Hormuz Strait to be opened. We will continue our contributions in this regard.
Foreign Minister Fidan, whose country's military effectively occupies roughly 5% of Syria's total territory, went on to condemn Israel for maintaining a forward defense in southern Syria, which amounts to less than 1%. Moreover, Minister Fidan warned Israel that its strikes on Syria, which last occurred when an armed terror cell operated near the Israeli border late June, are one of the most serious threats to the country's stability.
Diğer taraftan İsrail'in Suriye'nin
Israel's attacks targeting Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity are one of the most serious threats to the country's stability.
tehditlerden biridir. Uluslararası toplum İsrail'in işgalci zihniyeti
The international community should react more strongly against Israel's occupying mentality and apply the necessary pressure for compliance with the 1974 disengagement agreement and respect for Syria's sovereignty.
için gerekli baskıyı uygulamalıdır.
Minister Fidan continued by also condemning Israel for its defensive maneuvers against Hezbollah in Lebanon, disregarding in full the Iranian proxy's deadly attack against IDF forces merely 2 days ago. Meanwhile, in Israel, President Yitzhak Herzog relayed a message to IDF troops and other security forces operating in defense of the State of Israel, after voicing his heartfelt condolences to the 2 soldiers who were killed in Lebanon on Wednesday, and a speedy recovery to the wounded.
שני בנים של מדינת ישראל שיצאו למערכה כדי להגן עלינו.
2 dear sons of the State of Israel who went into battle to fight, protect us, and ensure the security of the Galilee and the north of the country. I would like to convey my deepest condolences to their dear, caring, and loving families, and also to hug the wounded. There are several wounded who are also in a difficult situation. We all wish them a full and speedy recovery. We are facing a very complex and challenging front, and we see time and again how our reservists go there to defend the homeland. Brigade 55, a very maneuverable and active brigade that is exposed to many of the challenges of war. I would like to convey a message of strength and encouragement to all IDF soldiers and to the security forces wherever they may be. May the people of Israel experience better news.
כוחות הביטחון באשר הם, ומי ידע ועם ישראל ידע בשורות טובות יותר.
Turning to the Red Sea, where the Israeli Navy conducted a large-scale joint exercise that included its fleets of missile ships and submarines, among others, involving hundreds of soldiers. According to the IDF spokesperson's unit, the exercise took place as part of a naval process of drawing lessons from the fighting over the past 3 years. Moreover, the exercise also comes at the backdrop of an escalatory trajectory between the Iranian proxy Ansar Allah, which is dominated by the Houthi tribe, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Among others, the Houthis yet again announced separate attacks against Saudi military and civilian targets in an attack which the kingdom confirmed has resulted in at least 11 casualties.
قامت قواتنا المسلحة
Our armed forces carried out a broad and qualitative military operation targeting the Saudi enemy's mobilizations in the areas of Al-Ruwayq, Al-Abr, and Al-Thaniya, as well as other camps belonging to the so-called 1st and 3rd Emergency Regiments, using a large number of ballistic missiles and drones. The results of the operation were as follows: killing and injuring of hundreds of the Saudi enemy's mercenaries, the destroying and burning a large number of the Saudi enemy's camps, mobilizations, warehouses, and weapons in the Al-Wadiya area in the eastern part of the country, and destroying a large number of military vehicles present in the targeted camps. The stated attacks against rivals of the Houthis in Yemen relate to forces belonging to the internationally recognized government of Yemen, which includes tribes that are backed by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and therefore it is subject to repeated attacks by the Iranian-backed Houthis who seek to dominate the entirety of Yemen.
إن القوات المسلحة اليمنية
The Yemeni armed forces warned the criminal Saudi enemy against committing any foolishness against our country and people, and it will bear the consequences of any escalation. We advise those among our countrymen who have been misled and deceived to leave the Saudi enemy's camps and return to their home regions before it is too late. Meanwhile, in the Saudi city of Mecca, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud hosted Pakistani Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan
for a trilateral signing ceremony of a joint defense pact, which, according to an official statement, reflects the three states' shared commitment to further strengthening their collective security and to promote peace, security, and stability in the region and beyond in pursuit of a secure and prosperous future. Among others, the agreement also stipulates that any armed attack against any one of the three states shall be regarded as an attack against them all, and provides for the enhancement of all aspects of defense cooperation among the three Islamic states. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News, which is made possible by the generosity of our viewers. If you're blessed by our productions and would like to help support TV7 Israel, which is a non-profit, you can donate via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Please keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem and redemption of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom and Mevorach. God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.